In this presentation, we're going to talk about the operating services provided by the City of Shoreline and the structural financial challenge that's faced by the city and most cities. First, the City of Shoreline provides a number of services to the community, including aquatics and recreation programs, parks maintenance, street operations, transportation, planning, and environmental services, community events, police services, criminal justice, neighborhood coordination and support, permitting, inspection, planning, and code enforcement. 24-hour citizen response and support. Emergency management. Human or social services. Economic development, as well as several other services. The city also partners with other agencies to provide services to the community. And in 2014, 88% of Shoreline residents rated Shoreline as a good or excellent place to live. However, the city, like most cities, faces a structural challenge in funding of our basic services, where the cost of providing services is growing faster than the revenues to support those services. The reason for this problem is complex, but it is in large part the result of the 1% limit on growth of property tax levies. This slide shows the impact of that structural challenge, with the black line representing our forecasted revenues over the next 10 years, and the red line our forecasted costs. You can see that after 2018, the forecasted growth in costs is projected to exceed revenues. Another factor is that city costs rise historically faster than the Consumer Price Index. The Consumer Price Index is the most common measure of inflation that all households face. However, as I noted, the goods and services that the city purchases are different than those in the Consumer Price Index, and they have historically been rising faster than CPI. When reviewing property tax bills, it's helpful to understand where the property tax money goes. You can see that the city's share of every dollar is 13 cents, 11 cents as our regular levy that support operating costs, and 2 cents for the Parks Bond Levy passed by Shoreline voters in 2006. The balance is divided between the county, schools, and other taxing entities. The city has long held financial sustainability as a high priority. The city has implemented best practices of financial sustainability, maintaining fully funded operating reserves and a rainy day reserve for use in an unanticipated economic downturn. The city evaluates the impact of current decisions on the future through the use of a 10-year financial sustainability model that produced the forecast we looked at earlier, and follows best practices by funding ongoing costs using ongoing revenues and one-time investments using one-time revenues. Recognizing the need for a long-term strategy to address financial sustainability, Council formed a subcommittee and engaged the community to build on the work of earlier citizens committees and developed a 10-year financial sustainability plan, which was approved in 2014. The plan has 7 strategies, 4 of which have been implemented and are currently in use. The most financially impactful strategy is the potential renewal of the levy lid lift. The city is required by law to balance our budget. Without the levy lid lift or other new revenue, our forecast anticipates that we will be forced to reduce cost, which in essence results in a reduction in services beginning in the year 2019. The impact of the reductions is cumulative. Our forecast reflects the needs for additional ongoing reductions beginning each year, continuing throughout the forecast. This graph shows the cumulative impact of the reductions year over year. Council has been considering whether to place a measure on the ballot to renew the levy lid lift, and beginning in February, the city manager convened a 13-member committee comprised of members from many different neighborhoods representing business, human services, education, and the arts to provide input on this topic. The Financial Sustainability Citizens Advisory Committee met 7 times from February through May. The committee learned about the services that the city provides, engaged in a budget exercise to identify priorities for services, and discussed the strategies of the 10-year financial sustainability plan with a focus on the levy lid lift. In their report to the city manager, the Financial Sustainability Citizens Advisory Committee unanimously supported some form of a levy lid lift to maintain current services and service levels, with the majority supporting a renewal and increased funding for human or social services. The renewal option involves resetting the rate to 148 and allowing growth by CPI, the Consumer Price Index, through 2022, just like the measure passed in 2010. Because the current property tax rates in Shoreline have decreased since the rate was reset to $1.48 in 2011, as a result of rising assessed valuations and the limit on property tax growth, the current rate is $1.33 per $1,000 assessed value. This means that renewal does represent an increase in the amount of property tax that a homeowner will pay. On average, a homeowner with an assessed valuation of $353,000, Shoreline's median assessed value, would pay an additional $501 over the 6-year levy period, or an average of $84 per year or $7 per month during that 6-year period. If voters approve the renewal at this level, it will allow the city to maintain current services at current service levels based on our current assumptions, and the forecast anticipates that it may provide some surplus revenues in early years to support one-time investments. Some past examples of one-time investments supported by surplus revenues include contributions to the Aurora project, technology investments like our new permitting software, or our parks registration software. Council will be discussing the potential renewal of the levy lid lift at its meeting on July 11th. Council will decide whether to place a measure on the November ballot so that voters can decide whether they want to renew the levy lid lift to continue services at current levels. Additionally, Council is considering other new or increased revenue sources, such as a B&O tax and additional vehicle license fees that could further mitigate the impact of the structural challenge in financing city services and projects. If you have questions about this presentation, please feel free to contact Sarah Lane, Administrative Services Director, at 206-801-2301, or Rick Kirkwood, Budget Supervisor, at 206-801-2303. Thank you.